Hi, this is Matthew Challenger from ClearGoals. That's www.CLEARGOALS.com. And in this example on IBM Campaign 9.0, I'm going to show you how to create dynamically generated user variable. Now this is useful if you have a flowchart already set up, but you want to automate a user variable within it and don't want to have to go into it every single time. So I'll show you right now. I have the file that's being created, Matthew_test.csv. You can see I'm going to replace all records every time, but I want to set this flowchart up to be automated, and I don't want it to actually overwrite the same same file every time. I want to create a dynamic file name. So what I'm going to do is walk you through the step-by-step process how to accomplish this. So the first thing we're going to do is set up a user variable to store the unique value. We're going to name this date_time. The data type is going to be none to ensure that IBM Campaign doesn't surround it in single quotes. Now the initial value isn't really needed, but it's going to help me to remember what the actual format is. If ever I have to come back into this flowchart, I don't have to go back into the actual process. I can just look at my user variables and see. So I want hour, year, month, day, hour, minute, and second. Perfect. So that's step one accomplished. Step two is configuring it in a select. Now for those of you that have never actually configured a user variable in a derived field, I'm going to show you how to do it. First thing we have to do is specify that we're going to use a derived field. Normally you'd put your derived field name here, but if you use a user variable, you can see .date time. IBM Campaign automatically detects that it's a user variable and automatically makes it persistent. So now I'm going to be setting up my value that's going to be mapped directly back to my user variable. So whenever I run this process, it's going to overwrite whatever value is already in the user variable. So what I want is, like I mentioned, year, month, date with some time fields as well. So I'm going to use the current date function with a special keyword to let Campaign know that I want not only the date but the time as well. Year, month, day. And if you need any help with these special keywords, you can go to the formula helper down here. And within the date time functions, you can see current date. You can use any of the format keywords, and the format keywords can be found here. So if you scroll down, you see all the either month, year, month, day, delimited, and at the end you see the time delimited ones. So they all start with DT and they underscore delim and either month, day, year, so on and so forth. In this example, I want not only the time but the year, month, and day. So if we apply this, make sure that it works, you can see that the derived field popped up here, and we can profile it to see what kind of values we have. Now right now, if I ran this, then my derived field would be populated with 2013/06/11, so on and so forth. But in my file name, I don't want all these special characters. I want just the numeric values of the year, month, day, hour, minute, and second. So what I can do is surround that in a date format. And what that's going to do is format that date exactly how I want it. So the date format, again, if you need any help with these special formats or keywords, you can go to these functions within the date time function, and date format is just under the date. Now I know that it accepts first the date that you're going to input, then the input format. So I know that my date is being formatted with DT_delim year, month, day. And what I want is a custom format. So I know that if you use the % in certain letters, then I can get the desired format I want. So what I'm going to do is input capital Y for year, then I want lowercase m for month, lowercase d for day, then an underscore, just because I want an underscore between the date and time, and then it's going to be an uppercase hour, minute, and second. Perfect. Close this, apply it as well. Yes, I want to overwrite. And again, I'm going to profile to see what kind of values I'm getting to make sure everything's working properly. Perfect. Just as I was expecting, it's going to be the year, month, day, underscore, hour, minute, seconds. And if I profile it again, you're going to see it's going to be different values because the seconds change. It updates dynamically. Or when it profiles, it updates dynamically. Perfect. So applying this, I have my user variable set up. So anytime that this process runs, it's going to update my user variable. Now the problem is that for my user variable to update, I need to return some sort of ID within this process box. But if I use any of the existing tables, for all I know, a customer record that I select today could be disabled or could be deleted tomorrow. So best practice, what I find for setting up dry fields like this, is to use a simple select statement that selects just one, the value 1, from whatever database you have, and that'll ensure that it'll never fail because of missing customer records. So how we're going to do this is go to the text builder, select advanced, and select this checkbox, use raw SQL for record selection. And to limit the usage of resources within the customer data mart, I'm not even going to use what we have as customer data mart MKT. I'm going to use the system tables. So it doesn't have to do any sort of connection to an external database. It's all going to be internal, which is going to be speeded up a bit. Not by too much, but enough. In this case, I know that the database I'm using is DB2, so selecting one from DB2 is just to select one from sysIBM sysdummy1. If it were, say, Oracle or MySQL, you might have to use something like select one from Dual or any other keyword from another database. But in this case, this should work. So let me test this out here. Oh, no input selected. I forgot to say. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to save and run this. And it should have updated my user variable here. So if I go and check it, perfect. The current value now is just as I was expecting from the process to run. So that's how we update the variable. Now to use it in the file name. So this is going to be time dependent. It's not going to be an input within this actual snapshot. And that's just to make sure that anytime that this flowchart runs, then the user variable is already populated with the current date. It's not going to create the file before the user variable is populated. Now how we use user variables in the file name is like this. When you're specifying the file name, you can do, I just want to add an underscore just to separate it. And just like in the user variables, or just like in the dry fields rather, you type user var dot and then the user variable name, date underscore time, within lesser than and greater than special characters, and click OK, and that's all you need to do. Now IBM Campaign knows that whenever it runs this, it's going to take the user variable value and use that in the file name. So click OK. Yes, I don't mind if my process is overwritten, and I'll do save and run flowchart. Yes, that's fine. So we'll see that my target's finished. It waits for my select process to finish to populate the current date and time, and now it's going to write the file. And it's finished writing the file. Now how I can test this to make sure that this ran correctly is I'll go into where I'm expecting it to run, browse, remove the limitation on .dat and all files, and there we have it. My file was just written Matthew underscore test underscore year month date, and anytime I run this flowchart, it's going to be a dynamically generated file. It's going to have a new file name. It's not going to ever conflict with an old file name. And there you have it. Hope this was helpful. Again, www.cleargoals.com for useful tips and tricks with IBM Campaign. Thanks. Bye.